You didn't forget, so.
No.
It
Are
made
you
us
kidding? No one
appreciate
lets
you
me
more.
forget anything around here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll calm down. All right. So, welcome back, everybody. Are we good? We're good. All right, that brings us to the reading.
Mr.
of
President?
What?
Could we have introduction of legislation again?
We need to introduce the new piece
The
of
new
legislation.
piece of
Yeah,
legislation?
so go ahead.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette.
on behalf of the Finance Committee, I have an ordinance authorizing the municipal administrator to sign a contract with the Bowling Green Police Patrolmen's Association, OPBA, and declaring an emergency.
Do I have a second?
We don't
Second.
need
Second.
a second.
Seconding.
Oh, that was the
Yeah.
reading.
That was just introducing it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So we'll read it at the end of
All right.
first reading.
All right. Well, then let's read legislation now.
Okay. Legislation for first reading. Resolution number 3778 for first reading. Resolution implementing sections 3735.65 through 3735.70 of the Ohio Revised Code, establishing and describing the boundaries of the Bowling Green Community Reinvestment Area Number 7 in the city of Bowling Green, and designating a housing officer to administer this program. Resolution number 3779 for first reading. Resolution implementing sections 3735.65 through 3735.70 of the Ohio Revised Code, establishing and describing the boundaries of the Bowling Green Community Reinvestment Area Number 8 in the city of Bowling Green, and designating a housing officer to administer the program. Ordinance number 8869 for first reading. Ordinance providing supplemental appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Bowling Green, Ohio during the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2020 and ending December 31, 2020.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette.
I move to suspend the rules and give ordinance 8869 its second and third readings.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Kay, could you call the roll?
Leontis,
Yes.
Phipps,
Yes.
Robinette,
Yes.
Roland,
Yes.
Zanfordino,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Hollenbach.
Yes. Okay, the rules are suspended for ordinance 8869.
Ordinance number 8869 for second and third reading. Ordinance providing supplemental appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Bowling Green, Ohio during the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2020 and ending December 31, 2020.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette.
I move to adopt ordinance 8869.
Second.
Second.
All right, it's properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Kay, could you call the roll?
Phipps,
Yes.
Robinette,
Yes.
Roland,
Yes.
Zanfordino,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Hollenbach,
Yes.
Leontis.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 8869 is adopted.
Ordinance number 8870 for first reading. Ordinance amending and adopting section 35.70 of the codified ordinances of the city of Bowling Green, Ohio regarding city fees and fees charged for services. Ordinance number 8871 for first reading. Ordinance authorizing the municipal administrator to sign a contract with the Bowling Green Police Patrolmen's Association, OPBA, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette.
I move to suspend the rules and give ordinance 8871 its second and third readings.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. Kay, could you call the roll?
Robinette,
Yes.
Roland,
Yes.
Zanfordino,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Hollenbach,
Yes.
Leontis,
Yes.
Phipps.
Yes.
Okay, so the rules have been suspended for ordinance 8871.
Ordinance number 8871 for second and third reading. Ordinance authorizing the municipal administrator to sign a contract with the Bowling Green Police Patrolmen's Association, OPBA, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette.
I move to adopt the emergency clause for ordinance 8871.
Second.
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. Okay,
Roland,
Yes.
Zanfordino,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Hollenbaugh,
Yes.
Leontis,
Yes.
Phipps,
Yes.
Robinette.
Yes.
Okay, so the emergency clause has been adopted for ordinance 8871.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette,
I move to adopt ordinance 8871.
Second.
Second.
all right, properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, okay,
Zanfordino,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Hollenbaugh,
yes.
Leontis,
Yes.
Phipps,
Yes.
Robinette,
Yes.
Roland.
Yes.
Okay, so ordinance 8871 is adopted.
Legislation for second reading. Resolution number 3777 for second reading. Resolution authorizing the sale or of obsolete or unfit municipally owned personal property which is not needed for public use by internet auction and authorizing the municipal administrator to enter into a contract with GovDeals, Inc. for ongoing internet auctions for calendar year 2021. Legislation for third reading. Ordinance number 8866 for third reading. Ordinance eliminating fund numbers 5226, 5336, and 5338 as no longer necessary for municipal budgeting and accounting purposes, removing Chapter 353 of the codified ordinances regarding gas service, and amending and adopting Section 35.17 of the codified ordinances of the City of Bowling Green regarding funds.
Mr. President,
Mr. Leontis,
I move to adopt ordinance 8866. Second.
properly
Second.
properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay,
Harold,
Yes.
Hollenbaugh,
yes.
Leontis,
Yes.
Phipps,
Yes.
Robinette,
Yes.
Roland,
Yes.
Zanfordino.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 8866 is adopted.
Ordinance number 8868 for third reading. Ordinance accepting an easement from Mohammed Kamaluddin and Saeed Ahmed for utility purposes.
Mr. President,
Mr. Leontis,
I move to adopt ordinance 8868.
Second.
okay, properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, okay, could you call the roll?
Hollenbaugh,
Yes?
Leontis,
Yes.
Phipps,
Yes.
Robinette,
Yes.
Roland,
Yes.
Zanfordino,
Yes.
Harold.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 8868 is adopted. I would like to make a motion, as you will recall, we put a cutoff date, potential cutoff date for the mandatory mask ordinance as October 31st, pending an extension by council. I believe that given the current situation, that it would be advantageous for us to extend that deadline. So I am going to move that the mask ordinance date be extended out to December 31st.
Second.
Okay.
Mr. President, point of order. Is this something we can do without formally amending the ordinance? We do it through a motion?
It's my understanding.
Okay, good. And what were you changing it to?
December 31st.
December instead of the end of January?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll have an ability to reassess it in December. I had originally thought January, but then again, I thought it would be a more complicated process. But I think in keeping with the eternal optimistic view that we'll hope we can start the new year without masks. So,
So December 31, 2020.
correct.
2020. Good clarification.
Yes. So I believe it's been properly moved and seconded.
Yes, it has.
Is there any discussion anyone would like to have on this? I'd be willing to entertain a different date if people feel that date is inappropriate.
I'd like to just make a comment. I sent everybody some data. I collected all the statistics from the newspaper for the last 3 months. And it's very interesting to see how the number of cases in the county were growing in May and June after we opened the economy somewhat. And then once, just a couple of weeks after we started the masking order, you could see it leveling off. It's really quite striking in the data that I sent you. Now we do have an upswing again, which is, as you mentioned, Mark, is related to the students coming. We see that also in the data with the median age of infected persons coming down very rapidly and some other indications. But in any case, it's very important that we keep this going. And again, thank you to the police, to the officers, and to the leadership of our chief for doing, education along with enforcement in a very intelligent manner. It's clearly showing up in the data.
Okay. Anyone else have any comments they'd like to make before we vote?
I appreciate you bringing this up at this meeting, Mark. It's clear that this needs to be extended, so thank you very much.
All right, Kay, could you call the roll, please?
Leontis,
Yes.
Phipps,
Yes.
Robinette,
Yes.
Roland,
Yes.
Zanfordino,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Hollenbaugh.
Yes. Okay, so officially, the expiration date for the mask ordinance has been changed to December 31st, 2020. Outstanding. Is there any other business to come before council this evening?
Yes, Mr. President.
Mr. Robinette?
On September 21st, I drafted a letter addressed to Chief of Police and the officers. It was delivered on September 22nd, and which was the day after our last council meeting. At this time, I'd like to read the letter that I wrote and as part of the record. September 21st, 2020, regarding a declaration of support for local law enforcement. Dear Chief Hetrick and the officers of the Bowling Green Police Division. The United States of America was founded on the principles of liberty, justice, and the rule of law. I believe that law enforcement is essential to the protection of our freedom, and I oppose any attack on the women and men of law enforcement. As a member of City Council representing the city of Bowling Green, Ohio, I write this letter to express my support for the Bowling Green Police Division. I recognize and appreciate that many of Bowling Green's officers are sons and daughters of local families, parents of children who attend our schools, and coaches, youth coaches and volunteers, members of our churches and civic organizations, and most importantly, our friends and neighbors. Our community resources and culture are ever changing. However, I believe there are some necessary components to a thriving, healthy, safe, and free community. One key component is efficient, empathetic, understanding, and community-based policing. Unfortunately, a small portion of people in our community and around our state and nation pose a risk to the sense of community that the majority of our community expects and treasures. You, the dedicated officers of the Bowling Green Police Division, however, support our community 24/7 and are committed to protect and serve our community. I want you to know that I greatly appreciate, support, and thank you, the women and men of Bowling Green Police Division, for your dedication and service. Sincerely, Gregory W. Robinette, Bowling Green City Council member at large. Thank you.
Okay, is there any other business to come before council?
Mr. President,
Yes.
if I could very briefly, I just wanted to say thank you to Mr. Robinette for sharing your support of our police division. And I'd like to add my voice supporting his words. I do think that it's important that we take the time in a proper context to recognize the efforts of our police division. There has been certainly a lot of discussion about policing in our communities and in many communities across the country in recent weeks and months. So again, I think that Greg hit the nail right on the head in expressing the importance of the police in our division. And I would also say that Chief Hetrick is here, as he has indicated that he recognizes that there is work to be done. There is always work to be done. We're continuously looking to improve and be better. We're proud of what the police do. We're anxious for opportunities to share the way that they police. But again, we're always looking for ways to get better, and we're interested in having a collaborative conversation with members of our community that will allow us to help potentially identify areas for improvement. But Greg, thank you for those words. Very much appreciated.
President.
Mr. Harold.
There's two key themes, at least, in what Greg and the mayor said. One is that we do appreciate and value our police force for what they do. It is not easy. And we do recognize that, as with everything, there's a need for continuous improvement. And thankfully, that is recognized and acted on by our police. So thank you, and keep up and continue to improve.
Okay. And Chief, you know, I already mentioned how impressed I am with you and your patrol officers earlier. And I've always found you to be approachable and amenable to whatever actions are necessary to better serve the citizens of Bowling Green. And I appreciate your openness with that. Any other business to come before council? Okay, I just want to remind everyone briefly that there is a meeting tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. It is a joint meeting. I will not be here when the meeting starts because I will be, the North Baltimore Board of Education is meeting also at 6 o'clock tomorrow. And they're meeting to discuss going from a hybrid model to having all the students in person every day. And in my capacity as president of the North Baltimore Education Association, I'll have to be at that meeting, but hopefully that meeting will not take long and I will get here before the meeting is over. So if you don't see me tomorrow, that's why I'm not here.
Mr. President, real quick.
Yes.
Or maybe this is for Lori. I may have missed this, but was there a packet of reading for this? Was there a proposal for us to review, or is this going to be a purely oral presentation tomorrow?
There will be a presentation. We'll be sharing the screen, and then after the meeting, we can send you the slides from the meeting if you'd care to see them, but there's nothing in preparation. It's just it is a work session. It is a presentation from consultants.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Thank you.
No, you didn't.
Okay. Anything else?
Mr. President, now that I think the meeting that we set up to resume the rental discussion, the dates that you threw out, will those meetings be, will the public be invited to that, or more likely will that be a Zoom meeting?
Well, there will be no public comment taken at that meeting. I would have to look at the logistics, but I would imagine that it's something that we could put out on YouTube for people to watch.
I think that would be great, given the
Right.
interest in the topic, but
Yeah, I really don't think we need to have any public input at the moment because we had such extensive public input initially and nothing has changed. Until people see what kind of product we've come up with, I really don't see where continued public input would be constructive. It would just be a rehash of everything we've heard already, so,
I agree. Thank you.
Mr. President,
yes.
move that we adjourn.
But you didn't let me ask.
Second,
I'm sure people have other things they want to bring up.
Like the ending of The Lord of the Rings, it just keeps
I
going.
mean, Kay wants to share something, I'm sure.
No, I'm good.
All right, I believe the motion to adjourn has been seconded. So all in favor of ending the meeting, say aye.
Aye.
okay.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.